One more hour to go. Welcome to hour number 3, live right here on this Friday on the early line on SportsGrid. Later on in this third and final hour, we will have some Friday football best bets to get you set for week 0 and the start of the 2024 college football campaign, which begins tomorrow in just 26 hours. It's a noon Eastern kickoff a little bit later over there in Dublin between Florida State and Georgia Tech to start off a new college football season. I can't wait to see my guy, DRS, Donnie Rightside, break out the preseason magazine and dive through his best bets for the Irish opener between FSU and Georgia Tech. We'll talk a little bit more around the National Football League, some MLB weekend slate previews as well, a jam-packed third and final hour. It's our charge now, DRS, during Football Fridays.
Yeah, it's going to be good now to watch this play out in hour number 3, because I got to tell you, man, you're looking at that script over here, BSS, a couple segments of preseason football, week number 3, where you're basically saying, like, hey, Donnie, let's set this game up together. And it's like, I don't really know who's playing here. Looks like this line is interesting, and I like them for the regular season. So now we're going to hit the gas pedal here in hour number 3, maybe rip off some hot topics and get after it. So let's go.
Yeah, we are certainly going to do that. And, Donnie, one of the hot topics we will start with is actually not regarding football or the NFL or college football at this moment. We start with some Major League Baseball here in hour number 3. Yesterday, in a game that we did not talk about just yet, Paul Skeens was sensational once again for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's been a little bit shaky by the illustrious Skeens standard that he has set in his young Major League Baseball career. But yesterday, 6 innings of work, only allowing 2 base knocks to the Reds, shut out work in those 6 innings, and striking out 9 over his strikeout prop of 7.5. The Buccos got a win, 7-0 over the Cincinnati Reds. So entering yesterday, we had a long conversation about Jackson Merrill of the Padres being booked as the National League Rookie of the Year favorite, in the idea that Skeens had not been as illustrious here in the second half since the All-Star break, and starting the All-Star game for the National League, and the idea that Pittsburgh Pirates had been struggling mightily and were very close to shutting Skeens down. Well, after another gem on the bump, Paul Skeens is back to the National League Rookie of the Year favorite at a minus money price. Donnie, what do we make of this before we hear from the people?
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot of changes here coming down the stretch between these two players, because on a night-to-night basis, you're not going to get a lot of change, but you will get change when Paul Skeens takes them out every 5 to 6 days. If he has a great performance, it's going to move up. Because let's understand yesterday what could have happened. Paul Skeens had a very good day. Jackson Merrill hits a walk-off 3-run home run to beat the Mets in the bottom of the 9th inning. I guarantee right now, Jackson Merrill probably still going to be the favorite in that market. But the fact that Merrill, I say didn't really do much is unfair, but anytime you're the pitcher on the mound and you are dominant out there, and that's what you're going for every 6 days, that's what the public is going to bet the following day. Hey, my guy had an unbelievable night. Merrill didn't have an unbelievable performance. Those are going to change. Now, over the next 2 to 3 days, Jackson Merrill hits home runs that win baseball games. He's going to collapse that market and maybe be the favorite. This is just what we're living in now. We don't know how many more starts Paul Skeens is going to get, but if he's starting games like he did yesterday, he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. Absolutely.
And you know what's so fascinating still about Paul Skeens? Again, the record at this moment is 8-2 for Skeens. He lowered the ERA to a 2.16. If he were to hit the inning requirement, he would have the best record, or not the best record, but the best ERA in all of baseball. In Pittsburgh, who has been struggling since the All-Star break, if they were to just have Paul Skeens in there in the 17 games of Paul Skeens' career, Skeens Day 17, yesterday XVII, the Pittsburgh Pirates have won 11 of those 17 games. Again, 8-2 the mark, a 2.16 ERA. We'll talk more about Skeens versus Merrill and what this all means in the National League Rookie of the Year award chase. But before we give you our thoughts continuing, we hear from the people and fade the public. at SportsGrid on Twitter. Who will win the National League Rookie of the Year award? Jackson Merrill was the favorite yesterday, minus 170. Paul Skeens goes out and delivers another gem for the Buccos. He is now the odds-on favorite once again on the FanDuel Sportsbook. But the public knows one name more than most. It is Paul Skeens. He has been a superstar this year in Major League Baseball. More than 73% of the public, DRS, not even questioning it, saying Paul Skeens is going to win NL Rookie of the Year.
It makes sense. It does, because when you're taking a look at splash plays, like we talk about, hey, that's an 80-yard touchdown. Same thing in the pros here with Major League Baseball. When you're on the mound and you're whipping it up out there with a ton of strikeouts, dominating performance, that gets the headlines. It's a little bit easier to do that for Skeens because we expect it when he gets to the mound. Whether or not Jackson Merrill can hit 3-run home runs in a game, a lot of other things have to go his way. Face not so dominant a pitcher, have some guys out there, and also connecting for a home run. So when you take a look at the efforts that Paul Skeens has had, he's been very good since being called up for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're still questioning whether or not he's going to pitch late into September, but that's not what the question is right now. If we're just saying to ourselves, if Skeens even pitches into the second week of September and is still giving performances like he's done last night and so many times already over this summer, he is going to be the Rookie of the Year, just the way you see it here, unless Merrill does something historic and hits 3 home runs a week here down the stretch and the San Diego Padres overtake the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, can he do that? Maybe he can. Maybe he hits 2 home runs tonight and can sort of close that gap. But as long as Skeens every 5th or 6th day has quality start after quality start, he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. He is.
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting because I wonder how many more starts Paul Skeens has. True. There was maybe a tongue-in-cheek joke yesterday from Tom Vecchio or Craig Mish saying, is this the last start we're going to see Skeens make this year? The win for Pittsburgh, a shutout of Cincinnati, just their 5th in 19 games in August. Again, Pittsburgh is 11-6 with Skeens on the mound this year, but just 5-14 this month. They have been struggling since the All-Star break. In fact, they were a couple of games above 500 still at the end of July. They have really been out of the NL wildcard chase because of this bad month in August. For San Diego, who is in the heat of the postseason chase, and Jackson Merrill will have those opportunities. Yesterday, just 0-4 with 2 Ks, but still plenty of significant games on the horizon for San Diego. We're not entirely sure if there's any more significant games for Pittsburgh outside of Paul Skeens making those starts. I did find it funny, though, DRS, and we'll talk Jackson Merrill in just a moment. The idea that Skeens had lost his luster a little bit in the 5 starts he had made since starting the All-Star game as a rookie for the National League back in the middle of July. He'd only allowed 11 earned runs in 5 starts since the All-Star break, and 2 earned runs or less in 4 of the 5. And yesterday returned to the dominance we have expected from Skeens in his rookie season. 6 innings of shutout work, striking out 9. Just the second time in his last 5 starts that he went over his K-prop of 7.5. It's tough when you set such a strong standard of success and dominance in your very first year in Major League Baseball. You almost forget the guy is a rookie. Paul Skeens has still been darn good the entirety of the season.
Yes, he has. And yes, that the expectations are much higher for Paul Skeens than your normal pitcher as a rookie coming up. If you could equate that to the NFL, Patrick Mahomes only 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. Boy, we expected 350 and 3. That's a tough scene. Meanwhile, no, that's a very good outing here for a starting quarterback. And the same thing in Major League Baseball. If you tell me my pitcher's going to go 6 1/3 innings pitched, give up 2 runs, and have 7 strikeouts, that's a really good performance. But some people look at Paul Skeens and go, oh, man, I expected maybe 8 innings here, maybe 110 pitches max, 11 strikeouts, because he's given you those type of performances in the past that we expect them on a night-to-night basis. Yeah. He's going to be just fine. If he does pitch all the way through, he's going to wind up being that Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not like Jackson Merrill is now plus 500. It's a plus 105 price. One good night on this Friday against the Mets, and he very well could go back as your favorite. Look at the stats this year for Merrill. More around Major League Baseball comes your way now.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
We're coming down to the final week of August, both on the calendar and in Major League Baseball. One more full month of the MLB regular season remains. Most teams only have about 35 games left in this year to make their charge to the postseason, and we're starting to see those separations in terms of the wild card chases and those divisional races in large part, at least between teams we expect to both be in the postseason. So it's not just earning a playoff spot, it might be playoff positioning. And there are so many different ways to look at a long MLB campaign and who will be in the hunt for a pennant and a World Series championship. How about the World Series winning division? Not just a team, but a division. The National League West has the shortest price of the 6 divisions around Major League Baseball. Hard to argue that right now. The Dodgers and the surging Padres and the Diamondbacks in the second half. The American League East has both the Yankees, the best team in the American League at this moment, and the Orioles, who have been a little bit middlings throughout this month of August. The National League East could very well have 2 or 3 teams, more than likely 2, with Philadelphia, who has not been playing great in either the Braves or the Mets. The American League Central, more than likely, is going to have 3 of the 6 American League playoff teams, and yet has a 7-1 number. Make that make sense. The American League West probably only getting 1, and the same story for the National League Central. Not exactly the most optimistic postseason look at the Milwaukee Brewers at a 17-1 price. DRS, you see the divisional odds of which MLB division is going to win a World Series. Who would get your bet?
Yeah, probably you're taking a look, and sometimes, obviously, it's going to be plus money, the plus 230 here with the NL West, but it seems like you're getting a discount and a bargain, even though they're the highest, or the lowest odds in the marketplace, because you're going to get 3 cracks at the playoffs, and I know the season doesn't end now. You might be looking at the Padres, hey, Padres just lost 8 of 10 games after that hot streak here because they've lost the back-to-back 2 games. But if we're just taking a look at that snapshot of, let's just say, the past month in Major League Baseball, how can you not go with the NL West? Like the Dodgers right now rounding into form, and then you take a look at the Padres and the Diamondbacks who have been absolutely wonderful. You take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies, who maybe at a time, the Phillies and the Braves would have been that 1-2 punch. I don't think the Braves are very good, and I think the Phillies stink right now. But again, we're talking about this in the last week of August, not the last week of September. It is interesting that the AL Central might get multiple teams in at a 7-1 price, but we're still looking at that AL East and saying to ourselves, okay, if Donnie keeps on telling me the Orioles and the Yankees are the best, that's also a good shot to go to. But it's not just saying, well, I'm just going to take the lowest odds on the board. I truly believe the NL West is the best division in baseball, and you're getting three cracks at teams just to make it to the World Series in an effort to win it. That's the way you have to go at this point.
Yeah, absolutely so. Donnie is spot on. Quantity and quality-wise, the NL West checks every box. The Padres number is still 21-1 to win a World Series. Same price for Arizona. The Dodgers remain the short favorites at plus 320. But three numbers in the 10 best prices to win a World Series out of the same division. Ben, what about the quantity of the American League Central, where I do think you have some value perhaps at that 7-1 number on the division as a whole? But the two best prices are the Twins and the Guardians at 16-1 to win the World Series. That's tied for sixth best. And the fifth best number is nearly half those two prices. It's the Houston Astros at plus 950. Just quality, the American League East, with the battle for the top spot between the Yankees and the Orioles, is probably where you would look. New York plus 500. Third best price, only 20 cents back of Philadelphia for that second best number, less than $2 back of the Dodgers, and the Orioles at plus 750 have the fourth best number. So the division in the American League East has two of the four best prices. Again, the odds makers giving that division and the two top teams a very optimistic outlook.
Absolutely, and they should. So if we're looking also like down the list, 17-1, the NL Central, the reason why these are interesting prices is because we're not even saying at this point, sometimes you look at the wild card race, Ben, say, you know what, I'm going to pick a team that's 3.5 games back out of the wild card right now because they have a great price. Well, at the end of the season, they might not make it into the playoffs, so forget about that great price. You take a look at the NL Central. The only reason I'm bringing it up is somebody has to go into the playoffs as the divisional winner. Somebody is going to get a first-round home series in their own building. So even though the teams aren't really advantageous, they're like, ooh, I don't know if they can win it. But 17-1, usually you'd say like, okay, well, maybe a team doesn't get in because only the top 5 or 6 records go in, and let's just say they don't have that. But somebody's got to get in. Same thing with the AL West. As much as you say to yourself about the Houston Astros, ooh, Donnie didn't like them throughout the season, and maybe I can't get on board, but they're going to win that division. They're going to be home. Their pitching staff might even be getting healthier as we go towards the break. So it's easy to say for me, NL West at that plus 230 price, yes, it makes some sense because I think you have 3 of the best baseball teams in Major League Baseball in that same division. But at the same time, you'd be hard-pressed to leave out those final couple teams because every single team, or excuse me, every single division is going to get at least one team in, and that division winner does get home field advantage, at least for round number 1.
And the 2 top seeds in the expanded postseason in each league also earn that opening round bye past the best of 3 wild card set and into the division series. And in the National League, we were debating for most of the year, okay, Phillies or the Dodgers? Who's going to be the 1 seed? Whoever doesn't, they're going to be well in front of the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Cubs, whoever wins the National League Central. Not necessarily the case anymore. The Dodgers a 2.5 game lead over the Phils for that number 1 seed at this moment. The Phils, because of their slide since the All-Star break, just 12-19, only a game advantage over Milwaukee for that second best record in the National League at this time. And so you saw the 17-1 number on the National League Central. Again, there's only going to be one team, more than likely, unless something chaotic happens in the final month plus from that division into the World Series. It's 17-1 for the division as a whole. It's a 21-1 price on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, it's, again, you're just looking at some of those same odds topics that you have to try to focus on who's going to be dominant down the stretch, who's going to be good. And taking a look at the Milwaukee Brewers, Ben, they're built. They are built for playoff baseball. They are used to playing low-scoring games. They're used to having a good bullpen here and quality starting pitching. One of those teams, again, that we talk about is probably going to win the division, is probably going to be at home, and you're getting an unbelievably good price going about that.
Yeah, it is a really good point. Know that postseason format and the expanded playoffs come October in Major League Baseball. Before we get there, some Friday breakdowns next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
A full Friday slate around Major League Baseball. We go game by game from the mind of Donnie Rightside into your living room and hopefully some winning wagers into your pocket. Game number 2 of the extended weekend set between the Astros and the Orioles inside Camden Yards. Yesterday, again, on your bingo card, if you had Spencer Arrighetti out dueling Corbin Burns, congrats to you and taking home a big plus money ticket for that matchup. Now not the case. Houston, a road favorite in Baltimore against the O's. Cade Povich gets the start for the Orioles. An injured starting staff for Baltimore. Hunter Brown, who hasn't been bad, minus 118, the number on the Stros. It's the Stros and the O's, and a total now of 8.5. What's the play in Baltimore tonight?
Yeah, take a look at the play in Baltimore tonight. Let's just keep it simple here, BSS, and take the better pitcher on the mound. That's Hunter Brown, number 3 on the card today. How about this, a 3.01 xFIP number? How about Cade Povich? Let's go all the way down to 28 pitchers on the card today that qualify for me. He's 27th on the card, Ben, with a 5.61 xFIP number and an ERA of close to 7 over the past 60 days. Even though Houston Astros technically don't hit left-handed pitching all that well, Ben, leave it out there, baby. Let's go. Houston Astros, slight favorite on the road, handling their business once again against the Baltimore Orioles.
Again, Houston, a 5.5 game lead now in the American League West. The Seattle Mariners will have an interim manager after firing Scott Service. Houston feeling pretty good. Now 13-6 in the month of August. 9-11 is Baltimore's record this month. The O's a home underdog today. Just to tell you where the Yankees are at, they're close to a $3 favorite in the Bronx today as they host the Colorado Rockies. The Yanks now a 1.5 lead in the division, could really extend it. A difficult weekend set for Baltimore, albeit at home against Houston. Not so hard for the Yankees. Another good one out in Southern California tonight, much like it was surprising to see Spencer Arrighetti out duel, that being Corbin Burns yesterday. A slight surprise to see Luis Severino get the better of Dylan Cease and the Padres yesterday. The Mets win as a road underdog in San Diego, 8-3. Today, though, the Padres back to a home favorite, minus 134. Joe Musgrove back on the bump. Total is 7.5 in Southern California. The Padres on a small two-game slide, but they haven't lost many games in a row here since the All-Star break. Will that small skid come to a close?
It should. It should have came to that small skid yesterday for one game. Should have came to a close. But Dylan Cease, who had a good outing, that bullpen really imploded in the ninth inning. Let's take a look at Joe Musgrove after the extended streak here on the IL. 34 batters he's faced, very clean through those 34 batters. And if you take a look at the New York Mets, they do hit right-handed pitching quite well, particularly over the past 30 days. But Paul Blackburn will be on the mound here for the New York Mets. Average at best against lefties, dominated up against righties here. You're looking at that very good lineup for the San Diego Padres. I expect a bounce-back performance from them tonight. But, boy, if the Mets can get by and beat the Padres again to give them a three-game losing streak here, that says something about how well the Mets are playing. And also, is there going to be an issue here with that Padres team finally cooling off? I think they get the W tonight. I'll stick with that end of it.
Yeah, Donnie, it's not a bad look. By the way, I mentioned that San Diego hasn't lost many games consecutively since the All-Star break. In fact, this two-game skid after losing the opener to the Amazons last night is the only losing streak, so of more than a game since the All-Star break. San Diego is 22-8 since the All-Star break, now 13-6 in the month of August. Again, this is the only time since the All-Star break the Padres have lost multiple games in a row. So the Mets are looking up by a game and a half at the Atlanta Braves after Atlanta won the rubber match and the midweek set against Philadelphia. The Mets were hoping their divisional rivals in the Phils would give them some love. The Mets are hoping their other divisional rivals in the Nationals help them out today. The odds maker's not expecting that to be the case. With the NL Cy Young favorite and frontrunner Chris Sale on the bump for the Braves, it's a minus 270 price now.
Typically, when Chris Sale takes the mound, it's going to be a pitching mismatch in your favor each and every night that you have Sale on the mound. Notwithstanding tonight as well. As you take a look at Mackenzie Gore, 25th out of 28 pitchers on the card. And who's number one on the card tonight? Of course, it's Chris Sale. Last 60 days, a 2.17 ERA through 54 innings pitched and an xFIP number of 2.27. They should hammer the Washington Nationals tonight here. How about that?
Yeah, it's tough. 7.5 the total, by the way. The Braves and the Phils in that three-game set, 5 runs at most in all 3 games. Chris Sale minus 450 to win the National League Cy Young Award. More MLB breakdowns come your way next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little worried to talk about this game and this team with Donnie Rightside. Let me ask. I don't want to make you feel any certain way. Can we break down the Phillies game tonight in Kansas City, or is the heat still too high to really give us a breakdown?
Yeah, no, we can give a breakdown on this one because at least you're out of that environment where like both teams pretty boring at the plate. Tonight, we expect one team at least probably not to be boring at the plate. So we'll start from there. How about that?
Okay, that's good. You're an admirable. Wow, I couldn't say that word. Admirable man for being able to do so. 9.5 the total tonight. Got to get ready for tomorrow, baby. 9.5 the win total tonight inside Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City as the Royals get ready to host the Phillies for a weekend set. -138. Kansas City a home favorite. Michael Walker will get the start. Taijuan Walker back for the Philadelphia Phillies on the other side. Anyway, Taijuan Walker gets the start tonight in Kansas City. What do you like in this Midwest matchup?
Yeah, hopefully the Phillies do bounce back, but when you're just leaning on hope at this point, that's not the greatest handicapping technique because you take a look at that Kansas City Royals lineup, they're in full season swing. They don't strike out a lot here, and they dominate right-handed pitching. And over the past 30 days, they have done that. Taijuan Walker's only faced 39 batters since coming off that IL stint. He's been bad. ISO power numbers high, doesn't strike out enough guys, walking too many. That's not a recipe for success when you're looking for a win against a quality Kansas City Royals team on the road. But if we are focused on the Philadelphia Phillies on their side of things, Michael Wacha hasn't been a great pitcher over the past 30 days. His last 60 or so batters he's faced, Ben, to the righties, a 260 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 388. But he has been very good against left-handed batters over his past 65 batters he's faced. Kyle Schwarber's got really nice numbers here against right-handed pitching over the past month. High ISO, high weighted on base percentage. And nobody else really can compare to him. You take a look at Castellanos, average at best. Bryce Harper, 248 weighted on base percentage. Trey Turner, 221. Stott, 276. Marsh, 222. It's hard for me to say. And again, handicapping is supposed to be on a day-to-day basis. But it's not Aaron Nola or Zach Wheeler on the mound. It's Taijuan Walker. So if I don't expect greatness on the mound, can I really expect the Phillies to roll up into Kansas City tonight? Like, hey, man, 7 runs on the board, 7-5 victory. I don't expect it. So you look at that favorite here. It's Kansas City with Walker on the mound against the Phillies. And that's the way it should be. I think Kansas City beats the Phillies. Until they show me something at the plate, 5 hits and 2 runs, that's not getting it done tonight.
Again, 12-19 since the All-Star break. The Phils entered the series finale yesterday in Atlanta, winners of 5 of their last 7. Not the result they are looking for. Still a 6-game advantage in the National League East. That not so much in peril, but losing ground in the National League in the overall standings, playoff positioning, that could be at stake this weekend in KC. The Royals have won 6 of their last 7. Kansas City and Minnesota, DRS, both 71 and 56. Now only trailing the Guardians atop the American League Central by 2 games. Both the Royals and the Twins then, again, same exact mark, 3.5-game lead for those final 2 AL wildcard spots over the Boston Red Sox. KC -295 to be an American League playoff team. Minnesota -1450 to see the postseason. So the Dodgers have built a little bit of ground here over the Phils in the National League standings for that top overall spot. A 2.5-game advantage as the Dodgers swept the Seattle Mariners at home this week. They stay at the Ravine this weekend. They're close to a $2 favorite against the Tampa Bay Rays. What's the play tonight in Los Angeles?
Yeah, usually don't take a Tampa Bay Rays game and think it has a chance to go over, but I think this game does have a chance to go over the total. Bobby Miller is going to be on the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Only 155 batters on the season, but elevated ISO power numbers against at 243. A weighted on base percentage at a 416. That's bad. If we isolate just his last month, which he doesn't have a lot of work, only 22 total batters, that's a 286 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 465. But also, it's not a great lineup whatsoever as you sort of factor in that Tampa Bay Rays. So let's take a look at the opposite opposite side, you look on the mound here, Tyler Alexander for the Rays has been okay. Actually struggles a little bit more with left-handed batters than righties. But if you include the entire season, Ben, for this left-handed pitcher, 329 batters he's faced, an ISO of 209 and a weighted on-base percentage of 337. The one thing I will say, if you don't necessarily want to take a total to the over in this game, or even a side, because you think the price point might be just a little bit too high for the Dodgers, just focus on those three batters in the middle of the lineup here. And again, you say, well, Donnie, Shohei Ohtani's not in the middle of the lineup. We're going to leave him out of it. It's Mookie Betts, it's Freddie Freeman, and Teoscar Hernandez. 579, 387, and 384 are the weighted on-base percentages of Betts, Freeman, and Teoscar Hernandez. If you don't like the price, if you don't like the total itself because you can't trust the Rays here, just take one or two of those players in the middle of that lineup here to get RBI opportunities. They will here. Well, at least one of those three is going to come away with an RBI tonight for me, Ben.
Donnie, I'm glad that you highlighted Mookie Betts in the middle of that lineup. Shohei Ohtani has remained the leadoff guy, but really when you go up and down the offensive lineup for the Dodgers, patient hitters at the plate. Here are the walks per game for everybody on the Dodgers, and Mookie Betts leads the way. So walking Betts is what we have here at 0.61 walks per game. Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman at 0.55. So the walking Betts there, something always to keep an eye on.
Yes, it is. Absolutely keep an eye on at that point here. Sorry, I got distracted by a moment here. My screen blinked and threw me off. But yeah, let's just go with that simple question and answer right there. How about that?
But Dio, I just want to make sure you saw the title of the graphic.
What's that? Walking Betts? Yeah. Well, no. See, now I see it right now. I don't really get to look at the actual screen behind me. I'm more focused on the camera at this point, and I got distracted by my odds board changing, so I didn't expect a comeback here to that Dodgers question. I was already moving on to Arizona and Boston at this point. So there you go.
All right. Well, we'll talk in the commercial break. It's such a good bit, man. It's such a good bit. You hate when even like inside innuendo jokes go over the one guy that needs to hear it. We'll get back to it in just a little bit. So the Rays head to Los Angeles. Last weekend, the Rays swept the Diamondbacks. The D-backs responded, though, with a series sweep over Miami on the road earlier this week. Arizona continues its road trip in Fenway this weekend. The Diamondbacks have been one of the best around the major leagues since the All-Star break, 23-8, 14-5 in the month of August. The Red Sox did win its series against the Houston Astros earlier this week. We see how this one goes. -134. Boston, a home favorite tonight against the red-hot Arizona Diamondbacks. 9.5 is the total. What do you like tonight in Fenway?
Yeah, it could be hammer time tonight on both sides here because you take a look at, let's just say Bayo's on the mound, struggles against left-handed batters. That's not something when you do against the Arizona Diamondbacks. You take a look at Nelson. He actually has decent statistics, but let's start with the batters here. Nelson on the mound is a right-handed pitcher. Look what the Boston Red Sox have done over the past 30 days against right-handed pitching. Look at the first six guys in that lineup. I'm just going to use ISO power numbers. Duran, 320. Abreu, 323. Casas, 231. Devers, 262. O'Neill, 333. Yoshida, 277. And all of those guys have high weighted on base percentages. Let's get back to the other side with Bayo on the mound. Look at these. I mean, this is incredible stuff. Remove Pavin Smith, who only has 10 at-bats against right-handed pitching over the past month. Carroll, 357 ISO. McCarthy, 310 ISO. Peterson, 490 ISO. Bell, 429 ISO. Del Castillo, 370 ISO. Suarez, 319. Perdomo, 203. So I don't even want to take the pitchers out of the equation and just say both of these lineups are going to get after it tonight, and we should be looking, Ben, at double-digit runs here. We should be.
Let's see some offense in Boston. The first game of the Dan Wilson era in Seattle tonight. A member of the Mariners Hall of Fame, now serving as the interim head coach after Scott Service was fired yesterday by the M's. It's Seattle and San Francisco in the Northwest. Luis Castillo and the Mariners, a -146 home favorite. Total is dropped by a hook to 7. Wants to play quickly.
Yeah, I'm surprised that 7.5 is not 3.5 for this game total because I don't know who's getting base hits on either sides tonight. And yes, the better pitcher should be from the Mariners' perspective, but that seemingly doesn't matter whatsoever. However, Seattle's at home, new manager, you're going to get that bump here. They better take care of their business tonight.
The interim bump, not often seen in Major League Baseball. Maybe it works tonight in Seattle. Week 0, best best bets next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
The college football season starts tomorrow. It is week 0 Saturday. Yes, it's week 0. Yes, it's only a 4-game slate that features at least one FBS team. Yes, there's only 2 matchups that feature 2 FBS programs. But it's college football, darn it, and we're going to get you ready for 2024. At least we have a top 10 team in action on the very first Saturday of the college football campaign. It's 10th-ranked Florida State and Georgia Tech. An ACC matchup to start the year over in Ireland. The Dublin debut, 10.5-point spread in favor of FSU, over under at 55 and a hook. Donnie, we've talked about this game a lot and the moving market that has favored Georgia Tech a little bit. It was 13.5 about a week and a half ago. Now only 10 and a hook. Outside of the spread and the total, if those are not your favorite, what is your best bet for the Irish opener tomorrow in Dublin?
Yeah, it's interesting because I do like taking the points with Georgia Tech, but my angle from like a prop betting perspective is not going to come there. So I do think that Georgia Tech can hang around. I think they do cover. If we're looking at the total, look, you probably were going to get over 55.5 points. Florida State, Mike Norvell, very good offensive coordinator, potent offense coming here, and I do think we're going to see some points. But if I'm looking at just the narratives, right, I always look towards a new quarterback coming into a new situation. What's the goal here? You get inside the 10-yard line, you hand it off 3 straight times every time and score a rushing touchdown? No. You want your quarterback to get involved in that offense right away. So not necessarily from a completion standpoint for me or a yards perspective, but DJ Uiagalelei, I'm going to take him to throw over 1.5 touchdown passes, which is now down to a minus 114 price. If we're expecting a game to be in the 50s, yes, we understand college football rushing is a big game and a huge part of it. But if I have a quarterback like DJ, I want to make sure that his footing is sound. Because what's better, honestly, Ben? Let's just say they roll Georgia Tech, and each running back has 2 touchdowns apiece, and DJU was 10 of 13 for 104 yards. Of course they're going to take that win, but I just want to get my quarterback involved right out of the gate and say, you know what? He threw for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, and everything looked fantastic on offense. So I'm playing that angle where DJU, game number 1 for Florida State, immediate impact, give me 2 touchdown passes.
231 and a hook is the passing yards prop for DJ Uiagalelei in his debut for Florida State tomorrow. Of course, a name that we all know around college football. 3 years at Clemson, last season in 2023 in Corvallis at Oregon State. 48 career appearances, 40 starts made, a 30-10 record. Last year, 21 touchdowns to only 7 INTs, only 250 yards or more for DJU 3 times last year at Oregon State. My best look in this game is Roydell Williams. 67.5 is now the rushing yards prop for the Alabama transfer. It was 66 in a hook yesterday. What does not scare me is the output that Florida State is going to put up on the ground against Georgia Tech. Yes, a new defensive coordinator, Tyler Santucci, coming over from Duke, but the Yellow Jackets, with largely the same cast and crew defensively, the 3rd worst rushing defense in college football a season ago, giving up nearly 226 yards per game. So I think Florida State is going to run it and run it very well. Could lead to some passing touchdowns for DJ Uiagalelei, but I still think Florida State will attack on the ground early and often. But you have a split backfield. You've got Roydell Williams, the Alabama transfer at 67.5. The senior, Lawrence Toafili, who was there last year for FSU. And when Trey Benson went down in the ACC championship game, it was Toafili that stepped up in a big way in the ACC title game against Louisville. 118 yards, his career best, and a touchdown. That was the game-winning touchdown for the Noles. I think he's going to factor in. 42.5 is his rushing yards prop. And Jalen Lucas, a transfer from Indiana that is one of the more electric returners in terms of the kick and punt return game in college football, now there in a crowded backfield as well. That is the only thing that spooks me a little bit for making Roydell Williams over 67.5 rushing yards, DRS, my best bet of week 0.
Yeah, no, and again, sometimes you have that little bit of trepidation in week number 1 because you don't technically know how that roster is going to fail. And sometimes in game number 1 early in the season, Ben, what do you say? Well, we're just going to ride that hot hand here until we figure out who that number 1 lead back is. But you're looking at sort of a environment where I don't think you can lose either way because you can just get that big play from that Georgia Tech defense who wasn't very good last year. Again, there's a lot of question marks on Florida State, and they can answer a lot of questions right off the bat. Even if they are a top 10 team, not playing, let's just say, a top 20 team, if they come out with a great offensive performance, like put up 35-plus points on Georgia Tech overseas, you're probably going to look like DJU eating, and both of those running backs certainly eating as well. So we're expecting a good performance out of Florida State's offense nonetheless.
Plus 320 is the price for FSU to win the conference, something Florida State accomplished last year, but they're only 60 cents in front of Miami, only 30 cents in front of Clemson. A little bit of a tightening here atop the ACC market. Of course, Florida State, an undefeated Power 5 conference champion last year, the 15th team to do so in the 10-year history of the 4-team format of the college football playoff, the only one of those 15 Power 5 conference title winners to be undefeated and to be left out of the college football playoff. More than likely would not happen this year with the automatic berths to the 5 highest-ranked conference title winners getting to the college football playoff. Week 0 slate elsewhere, DRS. What catches your eye?
Yeah, what catches my eye, some more prop bets here coming from an SMU perspective. If I think their quarterback, Preston Stone, is going to have a good game, he only has to throw for 230.5 yards against Nevada. I think he can get that done. Also, number 2 in this one, how about Jordan Hudson, the wide receiver? 50-plus yards here listed at the FanDuel Sportsbook. And if I think you're going to get a good performance out of Stone, you're getting a good performance out of Hudson. I'd say the interesting thing, too, is that team total went from 40.5 to 41.5 while we were live on the show. I still think SMU crosses that threshold, but give me Hudson and give me Stone props this weekend. I think they do well.
Total, the spread back up to 26 and a hook. It had dropped all the way to 24.5 after opening at nearly 4 touchdowns, 27.5. people are listening. SMU is a good team. I look forward to seeing what they can do in
Nevada.
ACC action. Nevada, not a great team. Jeff Choate, now the new head coach there in Reno, spent the last few years in Texas as a co-defensive coordinator, has head coaching experience at the FCS level. Montana State, also in action, are the Bobcats tomorrow. DRS, enjoy the money line, my friend. Talk to you on Monday.
Football.
The early line rounds out with some college football next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
I'm not even going to say any words for just a moment. Let's put it up. I'm going to open up the jacket so you can see it fully. You read it? Take a second. College football period. The 2024 college football season starts tomorrow. And that's the number one thing you need to realize. College football period. This sport that we love, the unique product that is CFB, that reminds us each and every year, whether it's the history, the tradition, or the pageantry that brings us back, this uniquely weird sport is our favorite for a reason. Because each and every Saturday, even week 0, can be a moment that lasts all year long. In pretty much every other sport, the focus is on who wins a championship. That is not the be-all, end-all in college football, because with 134 now FBS teams, not many of them have a realistic opportunity of winning a national title, despite the expanded 12-team college football playoff. For most fan bases around the country, nationally, a moment in mid-October, a victory over a conference foe, maybe late November, in an upset win in a rivalry game, that will be the memory, not who wins a national championship come late January. And that is a beautiful thing. Of course, we want to see and crown excellence, and we will this year, with the biggest change we have seen to crowning a national champion ever, 12 teams in the hunt for a college football playoff national title. But remember one thing above all else, college football, period. The long wait is over. Tomorrow begins a college football season. where a college football game will be played every Saturday, starting Saturday, August 24th, all the way through the first Saturday in 2025. Here are the odds for the national championship entering this 2024 college football season. Georgia is the favorite at plus 280. The Dogs are the preseason #1 team trying to buck a very long-standing trend in college football. 18 of the last 20 teams to be ranked atop the preseason AP top 25 have failed to win a national championship, including Georgia last year when they were ranked #1 and did not even make the college football playoff. More than likely, that doesn't happen this year with the expanded 12-team format. Of that list of 10 teams that we can put back on your screen, 8 hail from either the SEC or the Big Ten. 5 SEC schools and 3 Big Ten programs make up the national championship list on your television screen. Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, SEC schools. Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, Big Ten teams. That's part of this new landscape this year in college football. The 4 West Coast newcomers to the Big Ten. The expanded SEC with Oklahoma and Texas. The 4 corner schools joining the Big 12. And the dissolution of the Pac-12 leading to Cal and Stanford, Pacific Coast teams joining the Atlantic Coast Conference, where we will see 3 ACC teams in action tomorrow on week 0. Florida State and Georgia Tech, ACC schools. And a team from the heart of Texas in Dallas, that being SMU. The champions of the AAC just a season ago in an 11-win football team. If you might be a little bit confused or you have some questions about the uncertainty with all the sweeping changes and the adaptations made this year in college football, might I recommend College Football Today, starting tomorrow and each and every Saturday for the entirety of the college football season, live right here on SportsGrid. I am so pleased to be back with the same cast and crew for a 3rd consecutive season. It's myself, Kevin Walsh, and Joe Lisi. Bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern time until noon Eastern. In my opinion, the best college football pregame show out there in the market to get you set for everything you need to know each and every Saturday. And, of course, for a new era of college football in 2024. Again, College Football Today debuts tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time, live right here on SportsGrid. And, oh, by the way, it's time now for buy. Just kidding. But a best bet for the Week 0 slate on Saturday. You heard from Donnie Rightside. Here is mine. Braden Shager, quarterback of Hawaii. The prop earlier in the show was 298 and a hook for his passing yardage output. It's already up to 305 and a hook against Delaware State. It's a number he's gone over 5 times. Hawaii threw the football on 65% of their plays last year. I think he goes over to start off 2024. Have a great weekend. The early line returns on Monday.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah, folks. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the target for
knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top.